So the third question is, how would you recommend that somebody go about acquiring a mentor? And I'd actually like to put that question to Mr. Kent and Pastor Grider specifically.
Okay, it almost makes it sound like you're getting a possession of some kind, acquiring. It's because Wayne and some of the others have mentioned it's a relationship that you're developing, in other words, you're not there to be mentored. You're there to learn. It's not their responsibility to teach you, but you are there to develop a relationship that will hopefully allow them to impart some of the things that they learned over the years. What's a mentor? We never used that word. We didn't have these kind of conversations when I was growing up, so I had to look it up. And mentor, anybody remember who Odysseus was? He was the guy who, after the Trojan War, took 10 years to find his house. He couldn't find his way home. Well, before he left, he had the foresight to ask an old and trusted advisor, older and wiser than he, and Odysseus was the guy who Homer says he never calls him wise, he calls him crafty. So he had, luckily, somebody who was a mentor, and his name was Mentor. He put him in charge of his son. He was also an advisor to Odysseus, and he helped keep Odysseus' son, Telemachus, on the straight and narrow path. Well, we don't all have people who work for us who we can do that for. So you have to realize the mentor ain't working for you. You need to cultivate that relationship and give that mentor, if that's what he is or she is, feedback. And that's very important, and particularly with any person in that kind of capacity, teachers. When's the last time, and I never did this, that you went back to a teacher, even if it was years later or just at the end of the term, and say, I really appreciate what you did for me this year, this term, or 10 years ago. It really made a big impact on my life. That's the kind of thing that mentors and teachers helps keep them going. Getting back to the question, I would look for somebody, and when I was your age, I would not have liked this advice. I would look for somebody who you would not hesitate to introduce to your parents, first of all, because some people pick the wrong mentors, and they get off the track, and it takes a while to get back on once you're off. So somebody who you wouldn't hesitate to invite home. Somebody doesn't have to be in your chosen profession. A lot of you may not know what you want to do later in life. A lot of you may know but are wrong, and you'll change your mind later like I did. But somebody who has established a track record in some kind of profession or craft or trade that shows that they can handle what life has thrown at them. Not everyone is called to be married, but I would pick someone who's married. It shows that they can relate to more than just themselves. And then, of course, you want somebody who has the time to do this, and not everyone does. Somebody who's going to take some time to spend with you, and it may not be, doing a checklist or all the things that mentors are supposed to do, but at least be able to cultivate the relationship that you're trying to cultivate with them. So those are the things that I would look for in a mentor.
That's some great stuff. I wouldn't add anything much to what Stephen's already said, except maybe just to emphasize too, we tend to define people in our time by what they do. We look at people's doings, and indeed our doings in a certain sense do certainly shape and add to who we are, but we need to be looking deeper than that. It's not just what somebody is capable of, or what their aptitudes are, or what their skill sets is. You look and say, well, this person's real successful, they're doing a great job, but look to the character beneath that, because ultimately what we do is driven by who we are. And sometimes you can find some very successful looking people, and you might think that'd make a great mentor. Look at all the accomplishments. But something's wrong in the character. Something's missing. and you want someone, by entrusting yourself to them as a mentor, you have to open up. You have to be teachable, as has already been pointed out. You want someone that's got a chance to mold and shape your life. And if their character is something seriously suspect there, even if they seem on the outward by their doings very successful, it's not going to make a good mentor for you. I just think, some of it too. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Would any of the other three panelists like to jump in on that question?
I just got one thing to I guess, add to it. If you're trying to acquire a mentor, I would say your first step would be to go to the Lord in prayer, and then trust in His providence, because if you ask for it and it's at the right time and you're open for it, He's going to give you one. He's going to give you one. So, but you have to seek it out first in prayer. That's what it's
I would say, I mentioned local church. Look and see who's in front of you. Who's God already placed in your life? Who's already there? You may not think of them as a mentor possibility, but you start waking up to, hey, I'm interested in this. This guy does this. Maybe I could talk to him about that. You never know until you start talking to people, see what they're into, and look for somebody also that has you consider a better character than you and a better spiritual walk. Someone that will challenge you. So.
All right, question number 4 is, how will you decide what goals to set for yourself, and then how do you ensure that you make or meet those goals? And I'd like to direct this question specifically to Wayne and to Todd. And Todd, as you answer this question, specifically answer it as a writer.
Okay. Sure.
Writing a novel.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. How would you decide what goals to set for yourself? Well, as a writer, if there's any of you out there, I think you'll probably understand this statement. When you dream big. Okay. The goals that you set for yourself need to be realistic, but don't let that realism dampen the fact that those dreams can come true. Okay? Because those dreams came from you, yeah, but they also came from God, and those dreams are something that are God-given, so look at your dreams. What do you want to accomplish in your life? Is what you want to accomplish God-honoring? And if it is, then it's most likely a worthy goal, and most likely a worthy dream, and most likely it came from Him. If it's not God-honoring, if it's all about me, then, you better reconsider that goal. You better reconsider that dream. Okay? So, where's your center of focus, I guess, is how I want to answer the first part of your question. Okay? Is it God-centered and Christ-centered and kingdom-centered, gospel-centered, or is it me-centered? That's what you want to look at when you're examining your goals. How do you ensure you will achieve your goals? Planning, and then work your plan. Okay? Set your plans. Say, this is how I'm going to do it. The book I'm writing now, I've got an outline that I had to sit down, I had to write first and say, okay, I'm going to write chapter 1, chapter 1's going to be about this, chapter 2 is about this, chapter 3 is about that. Okay? It's a plan. Then, it's so much easier for me to sit down the next day and go, okay, we're at chapter 2 now, so it's going to be, okay, it's going to be about this, so let me write about it. Real easy. Plan your work your plan. And that's how you ensure you're going to achieve your goals. I got a little bit more to say about that, but I don't want to take up too much time. So